all of a sudden we were ambushed by some bandits, and they wanted to kill everybody on my wagon and take their money. And I put my life in danger and fought them off tooth and nail until I hurt them badly enough that they had to stop and they had to leave us be. So, in the town of the Maggid of Kuznets, there was a certain butcher. His name was Isaac. When he was young, there was like, people have reputations. His reputation was that he was not so whatever it was, right? He wasn't so, didn't act in such a holy manner. And that, he kind of got that name. Now, he didn't live to a ripe old age exactly. He passed away a little prematurely, let's say. And a few weeks afterwards, he came in a dream to somebody else in the town. The guy whose dream he appeared in, he was the resident shochet. You know the story? He was a resident shochet. And he said in his dream, I'm asking you, you have to come to Beis Din. You have to come to Beis Din in heaven. I have a bone to pick with you. So he wakes up in the morning and I said it? Did I say it on camera? I don't know. Whatever. I guess we'll have a repeat. Okay, so in the morning, he wakes up and his heart's pounding, but he said, it's a dream, right? But the second night he had it again, and it happened the third night already. So now, it happens 3 nights in a row, and this guy realizes that it's not nothing. He runs to the Maggid of Kuznets, crying and begging him to help him. What should he do? So the Kuznetzer Maggid says, Azay, because Torah le b'shamayim, they can't make a bidin Torah for you down here in heaven. I'm saying they can't, because you live here in this world, they can't. Right. No, but
go to where the person's being teveh, he's not going to go up and.
Oh yeah. Right. The halacha is very good. The halacha is that when a person is what's the word? Prosecuting, accusing somebody of doing something, he has to go to the Beis Din of where the defendant is. So therefore, when he comes to you again in the dream, you have to tell him that you have to come to the Maggid. And if he doesn't agree, then he's going to regret it. Fine. So that night, he gets a visit again from this butcher. And the shochet answers what the Maggid said. And the butcher said, okay. The next day, the shochet comes to the Maggid. And the Maggid said to bring a big wooden partition to make a mechitza in the corner of the house. And he sends his shamash to go to the Beis HaKvaros to call the butcher to the Din. After a few moments, they hear the voice of the butcher behind this partition, crying. He says that the shochet, because he hated him, he made a lot of his behemoths treif, even though they were really kosher. And because that happened, he became he became a Baal Chayv. He owed a lot of people money. Because he got the behemoths from other people, it weren't his behemoths. And because of his pain and his poverty, he became sick and he died. And he left the wife and he left the guy's wife. Now this butcher's wife and kids, they don't have a husband, they don't have a father, right? Widow and orphans, and they don't have a way to support themselves. And the people who he owes money to, his debtors, are driving them crazy. On top of the fact that they can't help themselves, now they have the pressure of all these people, and she can't manage. This guy's widow can't manage. And now he finds out in the Elam Emes, in the next world, you find out all the secrets that the behemoths were kosher. And because the shochet hated him, he said they weren't kosher, even though they really were. And because he has no rest in the world, in the next world, and because of how his family's suffering, he is saying that he wants to bring this guy that didn't Torah. So when the Sheikhet heard this, his face turned white, and he admitted that it's correct, and he said that whatever the Maggid tells him to do, he'll do. So the Maggid of Koznitz tells him right away that he should pay off all his debts, number one. Number two, that he has to give a monthly stipend or a weekly stipend to the widow and children. And right away he accepts it upon him. And also the butcher was happy, because now both issues are resolved. But when the butcher's neshama was about to leave, the Maggid called him, the cousin of Maggid called him over his finger and said, Isaacel, come here. It's very weird for me that you have the time in the next world to deal with matters of dinter and money. You like we said in the beginning of the story, he had a name of not being the most highest guy. You had stuff you had to deal with. So how is it that you didn't have to deal in heaven and face retribution for the sins of your youth? Right? And if you would have to deal with that, then he has bigger problems to deal with. He has to deal with the debts. So this butcher's neshama says, you're right. Rebbe, you're correct. However, what's the story? The story is like this. I was, at some point, when I was younger, I was a wagon driver. And that's how I made my parnasa. Now, one time, I was driving some very special and holy people. People who learn Torah and davened, very, very like tzaddikim. And all of a sudden, we were ambushed by some bandits. And they wanted to kill everybody on my wagon and take their money. And I put my life in danger and fought them off tooth and nail until I hurt them badly enough that they had to stop and they had to leave us be. And so now, when my neshama went on high, right away a bunch of malachi Kabbalah, angels of destruction, came to take me and do with me as they do. But all of a sudden these neshamas of tzaddikim came out of nowhere and they said, hey, 1 second. The only reason why we were able to spend years and years of our lives doing Torah and mitzvahs was in his chus. It's in his chus that we were able to do all these things. He gets credit in that. And they left him alone. And they were ready to take him to Gan Eden. But the problem is that in heaven they're able to pardon a person for things that are ben adam amakim, things that are between a person and God. So obviously he saved a life. He saved a bunch of lives. And right away, all his sins are gone, kaput, finished. But he still has to resolve the problems that he has with people. And he has to repay his debts. And so therefore, I realized that the thing that's holding me back from finding menucha is this sheikhet. And that's why I brought him to a din Torah. And now I'm going to go where I have to in peace. And live happily ever after. But anyway, so there's 2 lessons we should learn from the story.
Don't be strict on other people's money.
Well, it's probably not even strict, but safe davar hakol nishma. At the end of the day, everything is found out, and also that you got to be careful about you got to make up with everybody. It's very important to have peace with everybody, and saving a life. Try to find people's lives to save. No, I don't know. But okay, good luck, everybody. Once again, it should be in schus of the soldiers on the front lines, the Jewish soldiers on the front lines who are protecting us, all the Jewish people. May Hashem bless us with a swift victory. And there should be no more bloodshed, and we should have Mashiach right now. Good luck.